All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us on Urban Tymes Magazine, Musiek Magazine. And believe it or not, I have been on a roll as of late with jazz. I got the opportunity to go to a jazz event just this past weekend, and then I get hit from, a good friend of mine, Patsy, about this amazing artist that's coming out of the Dallas, Texas area. So I was like, man, what am I doing right? So I want to introduce, I'm serious, sis, but I want to introduce to everybody Mahogany TheArtist, hailing out of Dallas, Texas. What's going on, sis?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well now. We get to talk about jazz. That's one of my favorite topics. And I know you stay busy in regards to the music and such. So how have you been?
Oh, wow. Busy, of course. But, I love it. So it's all good. Getting to go and staying on stage, playing with these amazing musicians. I think that's the highlight of my week, playing with these guys.
Of course. So we're going to go ahead and get into the interview, but I want to throw this out there to you, and I want you to respond because, of course, our followers need to know this about Mahogany TheArtist. So this is what she says. There is music all around us, like a movie soundtrack. I hope that the music I create plays you into and out of some of the most important and memorable moments in your life. This is what makes the music significant, its role and its power. Man, when I read that, I was like, she is dropping knowledge. So you have to expound on that.
Oh, wow. I guess, I'm an artist in that I've just been doing this since I was very little. So the role that art plays in my life is just like having a conversation or, music is always there. So I think that my father always, we traveled a long distance, and he was always listening to music on the road. And he would always have a story to tell, or he'd listen to the song and kind of, tell us things to try to remember about life, or how the song could metaphorically mean all of this stuff. So it played a really big role in how I wrote music and how I listened to music. So as I got older, writing music, I always felt like I could identify with specific moments in my life. When I listen to music that I write now, I can remember exactly what was going on, how I was feeling, why I wrote the song, or what was going on around me. So I think that that's what makes music memorable for other people. When they hear it and they talk to me about a song, they're like, girl, oh my God, you must have been in my room today. You heard exactly what I was going through, and, all of that stuff. So I think that it's the role of us as a musician, to be that. It's like a movie, theme music in the movie. When the scene is happening, we do that for people. So I think that that's what I would like my music to be in people's lives. When they hear my music, I want it to have a significant space at different times in their lives, because music is all over the place. It's different, it does different things and speaks different messages.
Indeed. And you mentioned in regards to how it reflects in your life, and I know one song that you really felt passionate about was Not Over You, and you actually performed it live. And yeah. So you got to share about that.
So, okay, that song has a funny story. That song is actually one of the first songs I ever produced, and I started producing music when I was like 13. Crazy thing is, when you listen to the song, I was actually in whatever I considered a relationship at that time, and the guy and I broke up. I'm a little kid, right? And I would listen to, I'm listening to Stevie Wonder, I'm listening to all this great music. And so I wrote the song kind of trying to express my emotions as if I were this grown woman going through a breakup based on music that I heard. Well, it's funny because the installment of the song you hear now is probably maybe the fourth arrangement of the song. I've recorded the song several times over the years, and each time I record it, it's different. It sounds different. The music is grooving different. So it's funny. This time around, it was just a kind of one of those things where I said, well, I'm doing jazz now, and this song can be morphed into whatever I want it to be because I still mean it. I understand the emotion that goes with it. So when I did it this time around, I tried to kind of conjure that kid again, that innocent, oh my God, what's going on in my life thing. I'm trying to understand love thing. And it came off just like that. Everybody that heard it kind of was like, girl, what was you going through in this? And I'm like, you wouldn't believe I was 13 when I wrote this song. So it was really, really cool. It was really cool that it actually worked. I mean, people actually were feeling it. You know, I guess I've been through more. I'm 42 now, so I've been through more in my life now than I was when I was 13. So I guess it's all pouring out in the music.
Yeah, it does, because, I mean, that song right there, I was listening to it, and I was like, man, I mean, it's just, man, I was like, man, who did that? You know, it got real defensive and stuff, you know, so.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, it shows your maturity, though, in regards to how it's grown. I mean, I would have never known it went through so many levels, but just listening to it, it was amazing. And, I mean, hey, good job on that one right there. So, okay, so we talk about, of course, Not Over You, but now, I mean, you've got Soar out right now. And I'm going to tell you, I was sitting there just like, I mean, it's one of those, it has you hype. I was sitting there bouncing to it and stuff. I'm like, hey, yeah, and this is like a new feel of jazz. And I'm like, okay, how did you come up with that concept for Soar?
Well, okay, so that one is a little deeper. I swing dance in Chicago Step. Me and my sister used to go out and dance. So when I found my sister got ill a few years ago with cancer. So when I started writing new music, I wanted to write kind of a dedication to her. It's only the two of us, and we're complete opposites. I'm the black sheep child. I'm always doing something I ain't got no business doing. She was the one, you know, college, 18 degrees, but we were like best friends. I mean, nothing about the other person ever steered us away from just always pouring into each other, giving each other love and advice, and admiring the differences in us between each other. So when she got ill, I wrote the song. Well, she passed away last year from the colon cancer. So I was still working on the song. Sean Martin and I have been working on a project for some time, and I was like, Sean, we got to finish the song. You know, I don't know what's going to happen next. So once everything happened and she passed away, we decided that was going to be the single that we dropped from that project we're working on. So the feel of that song, I can also say I wasn't going for jazz more than I was going for what we dance to, that feeling of the music that we dance to when we're out and we're swing dancing and, you know, having a good time with our friends. So I wanted it to be something that if she heard it, it would be like, oh, girl, that's my jam. I love that song. So that was where I was going with it. And everything that I'm speaking in the song is just expressing, you know, my love for her journey and how strong she always was and how encouraging she was to me and my mom. We're all very close. So that's what you're hearing in that song. And it was just an honor to do it with Sean. He laughed at me because I think the first time he let me hear the production on it after, you know, playing it for him on the piano, and he came up with that. I'm just crying. I'm like, so wonderful. And it's just a great experience putting the song together and all that it means to me.
It is. It is full of energy, and that story alone, I mean, just that, it goes back to the passion that you have for the music, and then you brought in your loved one as well. I mean, it was just, I was listening to it, and again, it was just so much energy, and I was like, yo,
thank you.
Oh, man. So kudos, blessings, and our condolences as well. I mean, that is an amazing tribute to your sister.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Simply amazing. And again, it's going back to the passion that you have, Mahogany, for music. Guys, y'all don't know this, but I mean, she is heavy into music. And I know one question I had was, what made you go the path of jazz? Because I mean, you are a very talented artist. Your voice, you have range. I mean, your performances as well. I mean, you really interact. But what was it about jazz that you said, this is my love, this is me?
Another funny story. So after being the hood queen, doing hip hop music, just doing heavy R&B, all of this stuff, maybe about 15, 16 years ago, I was asked by jazz saxophone player Jason Davis, who did all this jazz stuff around here, played with all the great jazz legends, all that. So he's like, well, I'm doing a show with all female singers, and I need you to come and sing. Well, I didn't know any jazz music. At least I didn't think I did. I knew this one song, and it was only because I had watched Lady Sings the Blues, and it was all of me, but it was Diana Ross's version of being Billie Holiday singing a song. So this was me learning this song. I went and did it. And they lost their minds. They were like, girl, oh, my gosh, who are you? And so I was like, child, that's like the only jazz song I know. So over time, I started realizing that a lot of the music I like to watch, because again, me and my sister were watching musicals, black and white movies. A lot of the songs that I knew in my head just from watching these shows were jazz standards. So you're talking about 20, 30 songs I know just from watching Lena Horne and Judy Garland. And finally, he was like, girl, you need to sing jazz music. So I was like, okay. And and I tried it, and it worked. And now it has just been the most fun journey. I mean, the idea of singing jazz and the genre itself is so broad. I mean, you got everything from Duke Ellington to Roy Hargrove, but all off in the middle of there, the audience is so amazing. They accept music on this broader level. Like, you can just play anything and have a good time, or change up anything, or groove any kind of way. And the audience that is what we consider a jazz audience is so accepting of the music on such a broad level that it makes it fun for me to just enjoy and have a good time and not feel like I'm, stuck being a jukebox or stuck trying to, be the neo soul queen or any of that. Just having a good time playing the music that I love the way I do it. And it works. It's working. I'm loving it.
Yes, it is, because I got a chance to look at your itinerary of what you've been doing over the past couple of months and what you're about to do. You are busy. I mean, it is crazy. I mean, from your performances to, guys, y'all check this out. She has a radio show on Wednesday nights, and I was sitting there like, okay, how does she fit in her performances during the week, okay? And then she also has a radio show. I mean, which is cool. I mean, Jazz Fusion 411. I mean, it's 7 to 9 p.m. I mean, okay, you got to share that story as well, because people want to know. Because it sounds like you're a natural at it as well, listening to a couple of the shows. I mean,
oh, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, did you want to use that as a platform to kind of like get people to understand this is jazz, or?
It's crazy because I was asked if I'd be interested in doing it, and I hadn't really thought about it. Some people had kind of thrown it at me, but like you said, because of my schedule, it was very hard to find the right time, the right platform to do it. But the man, Cedric Lyons, that runs 411 Radio Network, I've known him for years, him and his wife. And when he asked me, I was like, well, sure, I love you guys. And we worked it all out. So what made it fun was he was like, what's your idea? And I was like, well, what I run into a lot when I say jazz, people think, Ella, big band, old school swing jazz, but there's a big old, like I said, a broad range of jazz. So why not take 2 hours and cover that whole range and get specific with, some of my favorite artists, who they are, and even stories about pop, rap, funk artists that have covered jazz or came from jazz. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to tell the story of some musicians that we never look into or we never hear about. I mean, all the way from John Williams, the composer, his jazz trio is amazing, to Prince and jazz he's done, and Cyndi Lauper, jazz she's done, but you wouldn't know it just unless you were just a diehard fan and looked for it. So I thought this would be a cool opportunity to kind of scratch the surface on some of those things that people wouldn't, normally find out about some of our favorite artists, and introduce some of the local artists that I work with and know that may not have that same platform to get heard.
Now, that's a great platform. That is. And it leads into what you're also doing in regards to Jazz Because Art Center.
Yes, sir.
Again, you stay busy. You are all over the place. So, again, back to your passion, what prompted you to develop that? Because I've heard that it is a hub for emerging artists.
It is. Well, so I've always wanted, I live in an area that's very culturally diverse. It's, the suburbs north of Dallas. But when I was growing up, we always had to go to South Dallas or downtown Dallas, which is, some miles away, to experience, the culturally diverse things, Dallas Black Dance Theater and the Black Academy of Arts and Letters and Latino Cultural Center and all that stuff is downtown. In my neighborhood, it was just, we went to school and we did what we did and we made good grades. But I got that experience from my church and their involvement. So I said, well, it would always be cool to have something north up here that brought that same energy that allowed people that lived in this area to experience it without having to go all the way to that side of town just to get it. I mean, of course we want to go, but we want to have options. So that was what prompted it. When I was very little, my dad made me write a whole business plan for this place that I wanted to get, and I was maybe 15 when I did it. And then once I did it, I was like, okay, well, no, I don't want to do that because it's too much work. So finally, I guess we've been open for about 5 years now, Jason Davis, and we were working, making money. He said, come on, girl. So we took all the money we had, and we went and we got a spot. He was like, here's your spot. Make it happen. So we did. We've been doing our thing outside of our own space for years, maybe about 10 years, but now we're able to host programs that work with seniors. We do a workout class with live music with senior citizens. We do digital recording classes with young people, movement classes with young people, voice lessons, anything that we can do, but to kind of create the opportunity for all family members, not just children, but we do it for the whole family. I've had, students that were over 50 to say, oh, I used to play the clarinet, I used to play the saxophone, and I say, go back and do it. It's a good outlet. It's fun to do, and you ain't lost it. Just try it, and it's always turned out really, really good. So it's just a place where people feel comfortable. We do jazz every Tuesday. They come, they hang out, we play music, we sit up and talk till 2, 3 in the morning on a Tuesday night, and during the weekends we have all kinds of programs. So it's just a place I feel like that is enabling people to come and do what we were doing miles away, right up the street, because Dallas has grown so much. So there are people farther north now than even I am, and they like to be able to come somewhere like that where they don't have to go so far away to get the good stuff.
Wow. Okay. So, again, family, check this out. So Mahogany has the center that is doing some amazing work with senior citizens to young people as well. Then we have her on Wednesday nights with her show from 7 to 9. And then we go, and I guess she gets a break in between because then she's performing in Fort Worth. Then she's performing in Dallas. Okay, sis, what's next for Mahogany TheArtist? We got to know because you are running the gamut and you are literally blazing the trail right now.
Oh, wow. You know what? The biggest thing that I want to do right now is get out of the city a little bit and take my guys out and just go and play some music, abroad. I think that with the amount of music that I've had the time to record and some of the great musicians that I've worked with, some of this music is very brand new to a lot of people. So I would just love the opportunity to keep recording, put this next project out with Sean, and then go on the road and share the music, visit some colleges, do some classes with some of the jazz bands, just hang out, get out of Dallas, meet some people, have a good time, create family, and sell some music along the way.
There you go. Well, hey, if you plan on getting out of Dallas, we just want to throw it out there. If you could swing by Charlotte, North Carolina,
absolutely,
where we've got a couple of music fests going on. Matter of fact, someone was just asking me about hey, what's the upcoming lineup that's going to be happening here in the QC for music. And I'm like, hey, you need to stay tuned because there's a lot of artists coming through. And, we would love for you to come here.
I would love to. So I'm from Texas, but, my whole family is from the East Coast. So I got cousins all the way up from Jersey all the way down to the Carolinas. So right where you are, I've got family there, no doubt.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah, and we can definitely get you with a couple of other individuals here as well. There's so many jazz artists that are up and coming. I don't know if you know the music that is here, but they travel as well, and they're always going out and about. But to have all of you guys in one area so Charlotte could really know beautiful jazz.
Absolutely.
That would be amazing. That would definitely be amazing. So, last question, and I'll love asking this of our people in regards to the legacy that you'll leave, because, you have so much music. What will you leave to not only these artists that are out here, because, you've been doing this for quite some time, and I know a lot of them love to hear these words of wisdom from you. What would you tell them as upcoming artists that are saying, well, I'm trying, but I just don't know?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I think, ultimately I think that I would tell, just like my children, I would tell my children, tell anybody. I believe that there's a song in everything. I believe that, when you really get out of trying to figure out who you're trying to impress or, get out of all of that kind of stuff, just keep making music. Just don't stop. My friend Monica Chinwa told me one time I was worrying about this record. He was like, Mahogany, this is one of a million records you're going to do. Do the music. And it taught me something about writing, because I do writing classes with people and, you know, teaching them how to improv and over anything. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that helps me. If you're an artist and you have something specific you want to say it. But if you're an artist and you feel like, oh, I got to say this, I got to say that too. Don't stop. Don't feel, you know, like you're captive to anything. And I think that's when you're going to get the most out of what you're trying to do. Some ideas are good, some are bad, some you got to throw out, some you got to come back to. But you just got to keep on doing it. Just keep on doing it and don't stop. That would be what I would want to leave with anybody. It's all good, all of it.
It's all good, all of it. I love that. I love that. Well, family, y'all heard it first right here. Urban Tymes Magazine, Musiek Magazine. We got to hear from Mahogany TheArtist. Sis, that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be in your busy schedule and hear all that wisdom and follow your music. I mean, your music has truly, I think someone said it best, it leaves you with goosebumps, and it really leaves you to wonder as far as how beautiful life is. So thank you.
Oh, man, well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I really enjoyed speaking with you.
All right, family, y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. Urban Tymes Magazine, Musiek Magazine.
It's called Not Over You. So I hope you guys enjoy it. What would I do if you came back to me? Taking hold of the love you once let go. What could I say? Words would get in my way. To see your smile again, to feel your love. It seems sometimes I see you walking by, then I realize it was all. Say I'm over. All I do